Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Kitchen Design Experts. We're the channel that tells you all you need to know about kitchens, about bedrooms and about home offices. Are you thinking of having a kitchen extension? If the answer is yes, well, you definitely need to watch this. Alright then, kitchen extensions. Now, what help can you expect to get from your kitchen designer? Well, I would say that over the last 5-6 years, 50% of the work that we've done will involve either a kitchen extension or maybe a wall coming down between two rooms, creating a bigger kitchen space. Trying to create really what you would call a living kitchen. In these instances, we're not just looking at the kitchen. You're trying to incorporate maybe a table and chair, dining area, and you're also thinking of maybe a soft sitting area, a living area within the same space. Now, in these cases, your kitchen designer has to step up a bit. They're not just going to be designing your kitchen for you, they're going to be designing the entire room, or they at least should be, because one thing leads to the other. Now then, you might think that you can wait. You don't need to contact your kitchen designer at this stage. You might still be waiting for planning permission. You know, your builder's got a 6-week waiting list and it's a 12-week build. And you might have so much on that you think you can push the kitchen design to the back of the queue. Well, no, you can't. You've got to get involved with this sooner rather than later. Okay, to begin with, let's just consider elements such as plumbing, heating, electrical work and lighting. Now, your builder is going to be doing all of this sort of work before your kitchen actually arrives, and he's the one that's going to be costing you for it. So basically, unless you want to be hit with a big extras bill you weren't aware of, you need to get him to cost you for these items sooner rather than later. And to do this, he's going to need a kitchen plan. On top of that, you've got to consider that a good quality kitchen designer presented with some architect's plans, when he starts to design your kitchen, might come up with a couple of suggestions. For instance, he might say, if that window was 100mm to the left hand side, your kitchen design will improve 100%. And if that's the case, you need to be approaching your architect and your builder to consider these alterations at the earliest possible time. So, before you actually approach a kitchen company to ask them to help you with your kitchen design, you've got to know whether or not they're going to do for you a first fix plan for your builder. This is where the builder will present you with a plan that shows where all the initial sockets, power for cookers and hobs, plumbing, radiators and lighting is going to go in the kitchen. If the kitchen company isn't prepared to do this for you, I would suggest you find another kitchen company. Now, the reason that this is important is the bulk of that work the builder will be doing for you before he plasters the walls, well before the kitchen arrives. And you don't really want to have your new plasterwork smashed to pieces to try and change the position of a double socket or a light switch. As an example, just imagine you've got a lovely new island with an electric hob in the middle of it, and you've run power under the floor to where that needs to be, and you've then put a gorgeous ceramic tile over the top, and your kitchen fitter arrives, looks at the job and says, oops, that cable you've run to the middle floor isn't powerful enough to take your hob. You're going to have to knock it all up and start again. You really don't want that situation to happen. So you do definitely need your kitchen company to offer you the opportunity to have a first fix plan. Right then, so what do first fix plans look like? I'm going to bring up on screen now some examples of what we present to our clients that they can then present to the builders. Right then, this is the first plan. Now here you'll see that the builder will be presented with a plan of the kitchen which has got all the lateral dimensions of the positions of the cabinets. This is important so it allows him to position in the kitchen the exact location of the dishwasher, say, or the gas hob. All the lateral dimensions are on this plan. Here you'll see an elevation drawing of the oven housings. Elevation drawings are important because they will show the builder the heights of all the cupboards. He's got the lateral dimensions from the first plan. Now he knows the heights. And also marked on there you can see things such as sockets for warmer, fridge, sockets for freezer. And you'll notice when it says cooker ring mains that I put down exactly what wattage needs to be supplied for those particular appliances. Here's another elevation. This again shows the heights. This is a base cupboard run, hob run, wall unit run, and it shows what height the wall cupboards are set, what height the worktop is, and where we're suggesting that we'll need double sockets and other sockets for appliances. Absolutely vital for the builder to have this one. And finally, this particular plan, going back to the original plan view, but we've superimposed on this a lighting design. All those little black dots you see are suggested locations for LED ceiling lights. We've also marked where underwall lights are going, and if you look at the bottom there, you'll see exactly where we suggest that these lights are switched, including the table light that's going to go over the top of that little table on the right hand side there. One last point, on the right hand wall you'll notice we're suggesting 2U radiators. Now above that you'll see the BTU calculation we've done for the size of room, so we've worked out exactly how much heat these radiators need to kick out, and as there's 2 radiators we've put down exactly what BTU output each radiator has to produce. So as you can see, all that information presented to your builder is absolutely vital, and it's vital he gets it well before he starts the job. In fact, it's vital he gets it before he's even been accepted to do the job, because he has to cost for it. As I said at the beginning, you don't want a huge extras bill. And sometimes when you're coming to choose your kitchen, from a budget point of view, you need to know how much your builder's going to charge you in total, so you know how much you've got left to spend on your kitchen. As I said at the beginning, these living kitchens, they encompass not just the kitchen, but you've got to look at dining areas, you've got to look at living areas, soft sitting areas. And when we do a first fix plan for our clients, we don't just do it for the kitchen, we consider that entire space. Sometimes we've got to consider pendant lights over the table, or a standard lamp in the corner, maybe wall lights or a picture lamp. And sometimes television points come into the process, and aerial points. All this works in conjunction with the kitchen plan and has to be considered as a whole. If a kitchen designer says, yep, fine, we'll do a first fix plan for the kitchen, but I don't want to do one for the rest of the room, I don't want the responsibility for that, well, quite frankly, I would show them the door. Now, the other thing that you need to consider is that your kitchen designer has possibly done hundreds of designs for these living kitchens. And if they're a good designer, they'll have listened to their clients, and maybe they'll have seen mistakes that their previous clients have made, and therefore they're in a position to help you not make the same mistakes. So listening to their advice is important. As an example, I'm going to show you now a plan that we did for a client last year, where I managed to advise them to change their thinking on how they were going to do this particular kitchen. Alright then, this is the plan. Yes, there's a kitchen, a dining area and a soft sitting area. And on the architect's plans there's going to be a long run of bifold doors on the top left hand side, which you can see here. And on the opposite side to the bifold doors there was going to be 2 windows set at standard dining room sill height. The discussion in these circumstances with the client usually begins with, now which bit's going to be the dining side and which bit's going to be the soft sitting side. And this is actually very important, because believe it or not, this can affect how we design the kitchen. Now, this particular client wanted the soft sitting to be near the bifold doors, so there'd be plenty of light coming in and they've got the opportunity to sit down comfortably and look outside into the garden. Now, one thing that I've heard from many of my past clients that have got bifold doors is one of the best things about them. When they're sat at the dining table, they can throw the doors open and it creates a lovely al fresco effect. It's as though they're on the holidays enjoying the Mediterranean atmosphere. Now, I know we're based in Bolton, you have to use your imagination a little bit, but you can see where I'm coming from with that. So I explained to this client that putting the eating area near the bifolds has its advantages. But the problem was they wanted to see the outside from the sitting area, and the other 2 windows were too high to allow them to do this. Simple solution. Take those 2 windows and drop the bottom of them down to floor height, so they're virtually from floor to ceiling in height. This is going to let in more light and allow them to see outside. There's also two further benefits to having the dining on the left hand side and the sitting on the right hand side. It meant that when they walked through the main entry door, they walked into the sitting area, not the dining table, which I think is preferable. And also the dining table was closer to the kitchen, which is more practical for moving food dishes backwards and forth. Because the client had approached us in good time before the build had started, they had the opportunity to ask the architect to alter the plans for those two windows and make them floor to ceiling. I've got to say they were absolutely delighted with how the final outcome worked out. Sometimes when you've got so much to think about, you can miss the obvious. So why not learn from other people's mistakes? Talk to your kitchen designer about the full space and not just the kitchen. Okay, now finally, just putting all this into context. I don't know when you're watching this video, but I know when I filmed it. I filmed it in January 2021. And we've just entered our third COVID-related lockdown, and I think it's going to go on for quite a long time. Our showroom is closed, but we are taking, I think in the last 2 weeks we've taken 6 inquiries, all of them kitchen extensions. Now what's happened with this particular COVID lockdown, and the previous ones in actual fact, we've started to introduce video conferencing for our design consultations. And I've been in constant contact with the 6 clients that have been in to discuss things with us about how to progress their job by video conferencing. In fact, everything I've discussed in this video can be done without you even visiting a showroom. So that there's no excuse. Most quality kitchen companies, from the experience of COVID lockdowns, will have introduced video design consultations. As I say, you don't have to even visit the showroom. So please, don't leave it too late. Get cracking with your kitchen extension straight away. There is absolutely no excuse. You really don't want to be digging up a beautiful new ceramic floor just because the wiring's in the wrong place. Right then, that's it on kitchen extensions. Thank you for your time. Any comments at all, any questions at all, be it about extensions or anything to do with fitted kitchens, please put them in the comments box below. We absolutely promise to get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.